so what we're going to do here is we're going to mount the Whizzer drive sheave to the wheel, the wheel that I've taken off of. It's a brand new wheel off of a Huffy Cranbrook, and I chose it because it has very heavy spokes on it. Here, now obviously we're going to have to get this thing centered very well on the rim. Okay, before we get started, first thing we have to do is we need to lubricate the bearings. Then we're going to check the wheel to make sure that the wheel is true, that we don't have excessive run out. So let's go ahead and get started on that first. You want to make sure you get a good bit of grease on each of the bearings. Loosen up the cone nuts there on your rear wheel. You've got the two bearings on both sides of the sprocket, and then you have the bearing on the other side of the hub there. Get them well lubricated with some good grease. Get a good amount of grease in there. Then we're ready to go ahead and true this puppy up. Now, before we start to mount the drive sheave, we want to make sure that the wheel is trued. We're going to have to true it before we put the drive sheave on, and then we're going to true it afterwards. So I'm using this jig here, an old front fork from a bike here to check it for how true it is. So what I'll do, I've got it on the sheave. It's on the fork here. I've got it mounted. It's stable. There's no play in the bearing. And if you want, you can rig up any sort of indicator. Just use something to get yourself a little bit of a gap between the rim and your indicator. Let's see here. Let me use this here. I've got there. It's pulling away, so let's push it closer to it. Starting to rub there, and now it's pulling away. So from this point here to about this point here, I've got it pushed too far this way. I want to push it away from me, and I'm going to do that by tightening up the spokes that are on the other side in order to pull the rim back. Okay, I apologize. My fat hand was in the way through a bit of this here, but basically the rim was fairly true. It did pull a little bit to the left in just some areas, about maybe less than a third of the diameter of the rim. So what I did is I tightened up the spoke on the right hand side in order to draw the rim a little bit more to the right. I used the piece of paper there as a guide. I got it real close to the rim. I rotated the rim, and where it ran out, where it started to get real close or even rub up against the paper, I tightened up the spoke on the right hand side in order to move the rim to the right. I worked my way around. I had to adjust it about maybe 6 different times, about maybe 3 or 4 spokes in a row on the whole diameter of the rim, 3 or 4 spokes, directly in a row, and I got it to where there was less than about maybe a 1/16 of an inch run out, which was pretty good for these rims here when I rotated the wheel around. Once you get it within about 1/16 of an inch, you're good to go. Now let's go ahead and put the sheave on, and let's get this guy going. Just a little bit of run. You've got the sheave, and then you've got your mounting clips here. And all I'm going to do now is just go ahead and get it mounted on there. I'm not going to worry about getting it centered perfectly until I get all the clips on. Then I will slowly tighten them up. So I'm not even going to bother tightening them up at this point here. All I want to do is just get them on and get it started. So you've got your clip, which goes on there. You've got a depression here that the spoke will mount into. You put it behind. Okay, go ahead and get all of your clips in. Work your way around. Just get the screws started your first go around. Then go ahead and snug the screws up just a little bit on your second go around. Get them all just with, not too tight, but you want to get them just a little bit snug. Then you're going to go around again and tighten them up a little bit more, and then give it another revolution, a third revolution, where you get it the final tightening up on the screws. That way, you're not going to warp the rim or the sheave. You're going to slowly pull things together tight by going around 3 times that way. Alrighty, so we're going to go... What would be the easiest way to do this? Let's see here. Wow, we're pretty close all the way around here. I'm going to say it's within a couple of thousandths all the way around. So we are at 1710. And we're at 1710. We're good to go just like that. All I need to do is tighten this puppy up. After I tighten it up, I'll check it again. There we go. We look good to go. We're going to see how true it is now. I've got just a little bit of wobble in the wheel, but I don't think it's that bad. You're going to have a little bit. This isn't a bike that's going to be going 70 miles an hour or so. My sheave doesn't appear to have appear to have any play this way here. It does have some up and down. But I guess as well the most important thing is how much it is on the inside here. Okay, so here's basically how I went ahead and checked the wheel for being true. I took me a piece of paper, I put it up against the fork, I rotated the wheel, and I checked for my run out. And in a couple of areas here, most of it seemed to be fairly where I wanted it. In some areas it dropped down. So let's say if it dropped down between these two clips here, two of the clips holding it up, what I did is I rotated the clips up to the top. I took me a hammer and a piece of pipe, put it on the clip, gave it a couple of taps, not too hard. Gave it a decent lick, but not too hard, in order to try to bring it in a little bit. These here, you're not going to get perfectly centered and get within a thousandth of an inch or anything like that. Maybe you can. I don't know. My skill level, I'm not going to. And I don't think you need to do it for this application here. These bikes aren't going to be going 30 miles an hour. They're going to be going 30, 40-ish, if that. If you're wanting to go faster, well, you're going to deal with some issues. Yeah, the board track racers were belt driven. They would go up to 100. However, they crashed a lot, so that's why they're not running anymore. But take your time. Give it some love taps. The wheel was fairly true. The rim was fairly true. The sheave, as far as any run out side to side, there was next to none. It was concentric in the center fairly well. It had maybe about a 1/16 of an inch out of round at the most, but that's well within acceptable for an application like this here. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Click subscribe. This is going to be put on a 1910 Harley Davidson replica that I'm going to be doing with the Whizzer. So subscribe if you want to watch some more videos. I'm going to be working on this here over the next month, so I should expect to have a running bike here within the next month. So thank you so much for watching.